This is a prose poem and it's more of an essay. Okay, and it's called A Public Official's Quiet Lament. So please don't get mad. But we're allowed to vent once in a while, and it's only in this burger joint that we can speak. So, well, you're stuck. You have to listen, and you have no choice. So there you are. Okay. As I examine each sign, each historical slur, as I ruminate upon the ever-growing body of dizzying significations this political moment has now evoked and increasingly comes to awaken, I too have grown weary of things egregious, friend, at those who would focus on one man's impeachment as if it would absolve this entire nation. Outraged, if you really want to know, at all the wheeling and the dealing that goes on between the power brokers who would make a mockery of ideology, where coalition is now crassest opportunism, and the unfinished revolution is destined to remain not only unfinished, but the most epic failure of a once mighty and beautiful myth. Weary, yes, that the poverty of the rest, if not the cataclysm of global warming altogether, remains a source of indifference to most. Did we not, 20 years ago, once dream a dream, friend? Weary at those who would pass judgment at the state without first questioning their own remarkably unremarkable contributions. At those who have never once sullied their hands but continue to pontificate regardless. Weary at the self-righteousness of the left. Oh, at the proverbial flaring of the nostril and frothing of the lip. That advocacy often so bereft of numbers and an understanding of just how things are run. Weary, yes, of the smugness of the pampered set, that vanitas without end, as if insulated from such matters altogether, as though growth, novelistic form, and hybridity were far more crucial to the nation state than food to eat. Because, well, development is such a dirty word if you care to deconstruct it, at least in the humanities. Should you care to deconstruct it, must we always be so divisive, friend? Is there not a space in these our inner landscapes for those who are most afflicted in this nation? Must coalescence necessarily denote a lack of sophistication? Does tribal divisiveness have to be the only ethnographic map we draw? Weary too of the universe of assumptions between the so-called rich and the so-called poor. Weary, if you really want to know, of the bilious, most noxious cleavage we find throughout so much of this sad republic, of that predictable hiyap. No, not the Christian guilt-shame kind, but the more exasperating sort, where fear, obedience, adulation, and resentment become modulated into a silence monumentally strange. of those who can no longer think and speak, expecting always others to do so for them? Have we, pedagogues, or so we like to think, failed them, one and all? Or does it behoove them to meet us in this infinite amorphous space that is neither silence nor is it sound? Is existential responsibility, that proverbial sense of self, merely a bourgeois mooring? And how is it that we are now a nation of men and women so adamantly defensive of our rights while remaining willfully aloof of these, our civic responsibilities? Did not Sartre and Rousseau suggest that both went hand in hand, that both in fact were so inextricably linked? Weary, yes, of a media that often does not appear to be overly preoccupied with balance or with fairness, often reporting only that which is deemed offensive, ignoring all other signs of progress. Weary, above all, of voters who would rant and rave about corruption, foaming self-righteously at the mouth while expecting to be bribed at every season, who ultimately eschew merit in favor of that padded envelope. Must it always be my way or the highway, friend? Anyone outside of my accidental tribe, always somehow dubious by definition? Was it not Hegel himself who taught us the beauty of the antithetical moment in deepest philosophy? Without that act of listening, that momentous dialogic instant, how do we expect this blessed nation to enter into broadest daylight? Yet who am I to express such weariness, as if I too have not fallen short of this mighty myth? But did we not, in fact, once dream a dream, friend? Well, don't expect me to get involved, dear. The kids and I are at the beach. Ballet at the CCP this weekend. Exhibit at Ayala next week. Then a ritual to save the trees in Baguio. Besides, fame and immortality, being canonized, you know the drill, are the only things that really matter. Plus, pass the Glenlivet, would you? Thank you.